Okay, everybody, this is a video to try to help you move from creating your thesis statements to beginning to outline your essays. And I'm creating this video because I know people are going to work at different paces. So I want to use this video so you can kind of work at your own pace to outlining your essay. So stay with me, and occasionally I'm going to ask you to pause your video and to do certain things. So when I tell you to pause your video, pause it and do the things that I just told you to do. If you're confused, I'd like you to then go back and rewatch the part that I just explained until you feel comfortable and you're ready to do it. So the first thing I need to do is to open up this creating a thesis statement document. Looks like this that we worked on yesterday in class. So pause the video and have that open. All right, if you pause the video and have that open, I'm assuming you have it open then, now you look, my document is completed. I have an out or I've outlined reasons of who I was to blame or who or what I would blame for the tragedy in the play. And I wrote a thesis statement out for that. And then down here, I have reasons that we came up with in one of my classes about why William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama. And I have a number of reasons, and then I wrote a thesis statement for that one. Now, if you'll notice, my thesis statements are color coded. That's simply for what I like to do. You don't have to do that, but I like to take my three main points and I like to color code them. The first point in red, the second point in blue, and the third point in green. Right? So my thesis statement says Romeo is most to blame for the tragedy that occurs in the play, as he is directly and indirectly, I apologize, connected to every death in the play. He is impatient and makes irrational decisions, and he allows his emotions to control his actions. So again, those are my three main points that I took directly from here. I made it all into one nice statement. Down here, I chose these 3 points to use. It is a tragic love story. It changes emotion from scene to scene to keep the audience engaged. And audiences can learn from the choices made by the characters. And I made that all into one nice thesis statement. So again, William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama because it is a tragic love story. That's my first point. It changes emotions from scene to scene to keep the audience engaged. That's my second point. And audiences can learn from the choices being made by the characters. That's my third point. Right? So now what you need to do is you need to decide which thesis statement you're going to use for your essay. Are you going to write about who or what is to blame? Or are you going to write about why William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama? So I'd like you to pause the video in just a second and pick which thesis statement you're going to write about, what your essay is going to be about. So pause the video now and do that. All right, if you're back, then I am assuming that you know which thesis statement you're going to write about. Now, from my example, I'm going to choose this thesis statement, why William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama. So I'm just going to right-click on it or copy it. You'd have to do it differently, maybe with Control-C on your computer and copy it. And then what I want to do is I want to open up my essay outline. That is this document right here. So please pause the video right now and open up your essay outline. All right, if you're back, I'm assuming you paused the video and you now have this essay outline open. All right, so if the essay outline is open, you are ready to begin to outline your essay. Right? So once again, at the top, I kind of go over the directions and I kind of talk about the different prompts. You can kind of scroll past that part. You can go down here to where you have your essay outline and go to where you have the introduction. Now, remember, an introduction has 3 parts. You also have a first body paragraph, that's your second paragraph. A third body paragraph, that's your third paragraph, or second body paragraph, that's your third paragraph. Your third body paragraph, which is your fourth paragraph, and a conclusion, right? Now, I'm not going to show you how to outline all of this today. We're just going to get you started on your introduction and your body paragraphs. So, your introduction has 3 parts: attention grabbing statement, background information, and a thesis statement. So the first thing you want to do is paste your thesis statement right here in this box. The thesis statement that you're going to be writing about. So I just pasted mine. So I'd like you to pause the video and paste your thesis statement in that box. If you're back, I'm assuming you already have your thesis statement written, all right? Which means you can then kind of begin to fill in the rest of your introduction. So I like to work backwards. Instead of going from the top, I like to go to the next box where it says background information. You always want to give the reader some background information about what the text is about that you're writing your essay on. Right? You want to include the title of the text. You want to include the author. You want to include just 2 or 3 sentences that basically summarize the plot. Now, you notice I got you started and I gave you kind of a starter for it. I already addressed the author, that's there in red. I already addressed the title, that's there in purple, Romeo and Juliet. But I left off the 2 to 3 sentence summary. That is up for you to write on your own. I'm not going to write that for you. So basically, if someone asked you, what is Romeo and Juliet basically about in 2 to 3 sentences? What would you say? That's what you want to write right here. So please pause the video and do a 2 to 3 sentence summary. Pause the video now. All right, if you're back, then I'm assuming you've completed this box and you have your background information done, right? Which means you're then ready to write attention-grabbing sentences. Now, this is the hardest part. This can be a little bit tricky for some students. You just basically want to open up by briefly addressing the topic of your essay. You don't want to get in any facts or any details. Just what is your essay about? Now, my essay, you can kind of find that in your thesis statement. My essay is about iconic pieces of drama, popular pieces of drama. So I might want to open up by asking a question or making a couple statements about what makes something popular or what makes something iconic when it comes to drama or plays or stories. Right? Now, your topic may be something different. You might be writing about who or what is to blame for the tragedy in the story. So you might want to open up by talking about, tragedies or blame in our society, something along that matter. This is where you get a little bit creative for your opening statement. Right? So what I'd like you to do right now is pause your video and try to write some opening statements for your essay. So do that now. Pause the video. Okay, if you're back, I'm assuming that you've at least tried to write an attention-grabbing statement, which means if you have, then your introduction's done, and you can always go back and edit it later, but your introduction paragraph is done, which means you're ready to move to your body paragraphs. Okay? Now, the body paragraphs, each one focuses on a different reason from your thesis statement, which is why I have them color-coded so they stand out to me. So remember, my argument is that William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama because it is a tragic love story. That is my first point. So that's what I want to write about right here for the opening topic sentence of my first body paragraph. So I might say, like, one reason why Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama is because it is a tragic love story. Period. So again, I just took my first point that I took from my thesis statement and I made it into a nice sentence. And you notice I didn't write the exact same language that I used up here. You want to write in slightly different language so you don't sound like a robot. I'm gonna actually underline this because that's the title of the play. So what I want you to do right now is to look at your first point and then write an opening statement for your first body paragraph in this box. So pause the video and do that now. All right, if you're back, I'm assuming you paused the video and that you wrote a opening statement to your first body paragraph, which means you are now ready to go to your second body paragraph. And your second body paragraph is your second point. So from my second point is it changes emotions from scene to scene to keep the audience engaged. So I'm going to scroll down here to body paragraph number 2. I'm going to write the play is an iconic, again, I'm using slightly different language, piece of drama because it changes emotions from scene to scene to keep the audience engaged. So again, that's my second main point. So what I'd like you to do right now is pause the video and write your second main point in this box. Pause the video now. All right, if you're back, I'm assuming you paused the video and that you wrote your second point in this second box for your second body paragraph, which means you're now ready to do your third one. And the third one from my third point is that audiences can learn from the choices made by the characters. So I'm going to scroll down to my third body paragraph. I'm going to write down the final reason why Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama is because audiences can learn from the choices made by the characters. Period. And that is my third and final main point. So again, I want you to do that for your third body paragraph with your third point right now. Pause the video and please do that. All right, if you're back, then you have outlined or you basically have set up your essay. You know what your introduction is going to be about. Your introduction's already written. You know what each one of your body paragraphs is going to be about. So then you're ready to go back in and give examples. So, for example, my first body paragraph is one reason why Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama is because it's a tragic love story. So then I give one example of why or how it becomes a tragic love story. I would give a second example of how it becomes a tragic love story. And I would probably end my third example of how it ends as a tragic love story. So I would give examples to support and argue and prove this statement. For this body paragraph, I would talk about how it changes emotions from scene to scene to keep the audience engaged. So I would give one example where it changes emotion from scene to scene. I would give another example where it changes emotion from scene to scene. And I would give a third example of where it changes emotion from scene to scene. And then I could outline the rest of that paragraph. And then finally, my third body paragraph is all about why Romeo and Juliet is an iconic piece of drama because audiences can learn from the choices made by the characters. So I would give one example of a choice where the audience, or a choice the character makes that the audience can learn from. I would give a second example of a choice the character makes where the audience can learn from. And then I would do a third example of a choice a character makes that the audience can learn from, right? And then these other boxes, if you feel comfortable, you can go in and kind of complete on your own, but there will be a separate box for these other videos. And of course, the conclusion, you can worry more about that when you get to the end of your essay. So hopefully this video helped you outline your essay. If it did, great, and you can get started and you're ready to kind of move on to the next part. If it didn't and you're still lost or confused at all, please raise your hand, get Mr. Gasway's attention. Or if you're at home, you can always email or message Mr. Gasway. Or you can rewatch this video and hopefully by rewatching it and following the step-by-steps, it'll make a little bit more sense the second time around, right? So I hope you found this video informational and good luck to you on your essay.